Hey book girlies, I'm Sarah.
Hey gamer bros, it's Ian.
Sure, okay. And you're listening to a pot of sass and sarcasm. Wow. I haven't even started talking yet and you're already bored.
I'm just tired.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
I feel bad.
Oh my god.
But there's a plan to play a different game tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We all agreed
When exactly are you planning to play tomorrow?
at some point.
Because you know that it's Halloween tomorrow, right?
Oh.
And you know that we have children in the neighborhood who do come to our house.
In the evening, I suppose. I don't know.
Wow.
I think the others forgot it was Halloween.
Yeah.
But recently, today, I was playing more Warframe.
Shocking.
But today, I got to have fun with all the weapons I've been building. And I got to have fun with a new Warframe and my upgraded weapons.
Do you want to explain anything about these weapons or warframes?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, it's up to you, but it's just,
My new Warframe is called Ember Prime, and its base abilities revolve around doing fire damage. And it's got a really cool cosmetic.
Is it a hot-looking girl?
Perhaps.
I knew it.
But the two weapons I've been working with is...
Does she have a big booty?
Maybe.
I knew it. You like watching the big booties run.
The melee weapon is called Hate, and I got its incarnate form, and I've upgraded it 4 times, so I got really good stuff on it. And then I got Boar Prime with its incarnate form. I haven't fully upgraded the incarnate form, so I haven't been using that part yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been really good. I like it a lot.
Good.
Because that also has 4 upgrades on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been lots of fun. And then we were just doing high-end content really fast and easily.
Nice.
Do you want to see a picture of Ember Prime?
No, not really. I'm going to feel insecure about myself.
No! It's a robot! Come on! Robot ghost thing.
No.
Okay.
No. Thank you, though.
Let's hear about actual ghosts, though.
All
Or
right.
spirits. Wind. Fairies.
Diamonds.
Daemons. Matt Daemons, specifically.
So, quick recap. We are continuing Here There Are Monsters by Amalinda Berube. And things are getting just spookier by the second. Skye's younger sister Deidre went missing the night before Halloween. And ever since then, Skye's been noticing some strange happenings. There was the tinkling of a cat bell, which at first she assumed it was the family cat until she found their family cat dead in the woods. There were mouse skulls, which Deidre had collected, but they showed up in a neat little line on the railing. There was her sword, which she'd found in Deidre's bed, that she then yeeted into the yard, and then that magically disappeared from where it landed and rematerialized somewhere deep in the woods. And finally, Skye came face to face with the bone creature that Deidre made, and she started making deals with the forest in order to win her sister back from the creepy clawed clutches. And her first task was to make the invaders, quote-unquote, hate her, which she almost successfully did, by telling them about how she attacked Tyler and almost killed him and showcasing her violent talents to them in the literal show and tell from hell. It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And the woods asked her to make another spooky bone creature like Deidre's, and in order to meet this request, she used William as an excuse to get out of the house and preyed on his kind and forgiving nature. Just as she finished building her monster, the woods came to tell Skye the price she must pay to bring her creature to life. And that's when William, who was snooping from around the corner, saw the bone creatures and jumped in to defend Skye, only to become part of the bargain being struck. He and Skye eventually agreed to the forest demands of a handful of William's dad's blood as the payment for the bone creature known as a guide. And that's basically where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was like a highly intense scene, and it just ended with like, we've got ourselves a deal, creepy bone creatures, we'll get you some blood. So the next chapter starts with Skye and William fleeing back to Skye's house, where they rush into her bedroom in the basement, and after catching their breath, William exclaims something along the lines of, "Holy shit, is this really happening?" Which, fair question, William. Fair question. And he was asking Skye, what the fuck is going on? Are those things real? And Skye was like, yeah, that is real. This is really happening. I'm glad I'm not going crazy, and I'm not the only one who can see those things. Then, of course, William starts peppering Skye with some questions that she doesn't have the answers to. Like, questions are, what are those things? And where did they come from? And what do they want? And how do we outsmart them? And why the fuck did you drag me into this? Skye doesn't have an answer for any of those things.
It's like, to be fair, you dragged yourself into this by not doing exactly as you were told.
Well, and to that point, she does say that she tried to keep him out of it. And so if he hadn't been so nosy, he wouldn't be in this mess. It would still just be Skye in this mess. And William, of course, says, what did you expect? You expected me to just sit by and listen to your orders? I thought you might have been burying a body back there. Like, I didn't know what you were doing. So really, like, can you blame me for being nosy? Because you kind of freaked us all out the other day. What the hell was I supposed to do? Just sit there like an idiot? You could have been getting rid of a body for all I knew. You thought that you killed her? That was Kevin's theory, actually. But yeah, I have to admit, it kind of crossed my mind. And, I mean, that's a fair point, isn't it?
No. It's still his fault for being nosy. She was like, I was trying to protect you, but no, you just had to turn around.
You just had to just, like, peek your head around the corner. I close my teeth on my outrage. Swallow it. Of course that's what he thought. What they all thought. I would have too, probably, in their place. Well, I say, now you know better. That was real, wasn't it? He says to the floor. That really happened. It seems like it shouldn't be true in here, in the light, facing the serene tapestry of my plants. Night presses up against the window panes. For the first time, I wish I had curtains to block it out. At least now I know other people can see them, I say. How are you so calm about this? If screaming would help, I'd do it. He waves a defeated hand, accepting the point, and doesn't look up. Somewhere deep down, though, far removed and faint, his question leaves a bloom of satisfaction. Calm. That's fitting for the Queen of Swords. That's something. So pretty quickly, William starts questioning how they're going to get out of this deal that they struck with the Woods. I'm like, William, you were doing so well in the bargaining phase.
Mm-hmm.
You could have bargained harder.
And then she's like, you don't.
Sorry, the hedgehog just like snorted and it scared me so bad.
He's just hanging out.
He is hanging out, but he snorted. Yeah, no, he was doing so well, and then just now is like, oh shit, I don't know if I really want to do this anymore. And he's already admitted to having a weak stomach from hunting. The one time he went hunting with his dad, he talks about how he puked his guts up and everything like that. So he's really not able to stand the blood and guts of it all, and he's like, how am I supposed to get a handful of blood from my dad?
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out. Is he gonna like push him off a ladder or something?
Like, I don't know. They don't like me, he says. Whatever they are. Why? What did I do? Which first, I love that he's like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, that's maybe, I get your frustration, but like, is this the time to be all like, what did I do to offend them? Anyway.
Be the fifth.
Be the fifth. They don't like me, he says. Whatever they are. Why? What did I do? I have no clue. I say it automatically, but then a possibility drifts reluctantly through my thoughts. But you're not the first William Wright. Maybe your name's been around here long enough for the woods to remember it. Deidre kept calling you an invader. How is that fair? He cried. It's just an idea, okay? They know me, and I've only been here for 6 months. For all I know, they were just yanking your chain because you were there. No, I think you're right. It makes sense. But my dad goes hunting in the woods all the time. If they wanted... Why wouldn't they... Why now? Why me? All I wanted was a way out of the house. I swear. That's as involved as you were supposed to get. Believe me. I'm not exactly thrilled about this either. So that's it? You're just playing along, doing what they want? All we have to do is get through it, right? But what if we don't? He clenches his fists. What if I can't? William's like, we gotta get out of this. And
I don't know. It's like William has his own deal and she has her deal. I see them as two separate deals, so she could be like, I don't know, William, that's fucking your problem.
But she needs him to go through on his deal for her to get Deidre back, because she needs her guide to come to life. The guide is that bone creature that she built.
Mm-hmm.
And the payment to bring it to life is William bringing a handful of his dad's blood.
Oh.
So she needs William's deal to go through.
Mm.
Yes, technically they are separate, but they are in this together at the same time. So she thinks that if she just delivers exactly what the Forest wants, it's going to give Deidre back to her. Meanwhile, William on the other is like, I don't know if we should be playing the Forest's games by the Forest's rules, because I think the Forest is trying to trick us. I think that no matter what we give it, it's just going to keep asking for more and more and more, and you're never going to get your sister back. That's just not going to happen, kind of thing. To try to prove her point, though, she shows him those crazy roots that attacked the crawl space. Do you remember that happening a while ago?
Yes, I do. I was going to bring that up, actually. I was like, she's like, you think you're safe in here? Check this shit out.
Well, exactly. She's like, you think you're safe? I thought I was safe, but look, they've attacked our fucking basement. Look at all these roots, and they're really crazy. She's trying to show that the Forest is serious about its deals, and that it's dangerous. It can attack. It has its ways of getting into things. And that they shouldn't believe for a second that they can outsmart it. When William sees the roots, that they're literally, like, in the house, like, for lack of a better phrase, they're taking root in her house.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, we should stop talking about this here. Maybe the Forest can hear us. Because who knows how this magic system works,
mm-hmm.
quite honestly. He's like, maybe it can hear us through the roots, and if we're talking here about how to outsmart it, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We should go somewhere that they don't have access to. Like my house, because we don't have this kind of shit in my house.
But it literally said you're not safe in your house of stone.
Yeah, but it could have been bluffing. Because he's saying, he does bring up, like, why now? Why me? And why hasn't this ever, like, why haven't the roots ever infiltrated my house before? I don't understand, you know? She's like, okay, that's a good point. Let's, what?
I have an idea. It's because no one's opened the door before.
Okay.
To the kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. So, they decide that they are going to go to William's house now. There's a lot of back and forth. And I'm like, what time is it? It's probably like 6 p.m., but because, like, it's dark, but it's November. So it's like, how late are you guys staying out and your parents are okay with all this kind of stuff? So anyways, so they go over to William's house up at the top of the hill in their big stone house. They make a quick excuse to Skye's parents, who are wary, but they're exhausted because their other child has been missing for over a week now. So they agree. And once they're at William's house, they go directly into his room, much to the surprise of his parents, who objected to Skye's presence, but really didn't do anything to kick her out.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, you just beat up our kid the other day. Like, no, what the fuck are you doing here? And William's like, it's fine, bye! And then they just, like...
It's fine, I'm bringing her to my room, don't worry about it.
And, like, closes the door, turns on the TV super loud to drown out their conversation. But I'm like, do you think his parents just, like, saw them go into his room and are like, are you guys, like, banging right now?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And there was this one really great moment when they're having their very serious conversation, and then Bill, William's dad, walks into the room, and they both just, like, do the... I think of, like, the caveman SpongeBob meme, the... They both do that, and Bill goes, puts his hands up, and just, like, slowly backs out of the room. And I love how serious this scene is, but I couldn't take it terribly seriously, because I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Nobody knows.
No. So Skye and William quickly duck into his room, turn on a sports game to drown out their conversation, and they start discussing what they do and don't know about the monsters. And for William, he was very focused on how to find a loophole in the bargain that he struck. But Skye realizes that she doesn't actually know a lot about those monsters.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that they call her the Queen of Swords, that they somewhat respect her sword, even though it's a toy, and that they seem to be playing by the rules of Deidre's game to some extent, as far as they respect the titles, they understand Deidre's history with the kingdoms and things like that. So it does seem somewhat like a creation of Deidre's. But at the same time, it definitely got way out of hand. And we talked about this last time, about, is it her game that got out of control, or was it a being that kind of pretended to be playing her game but actually had its own agenda kind of thing? That's kind of where we're at, and that's kind of where they're coming to as well, was Deidre being controlled by these things, or was Deidre controlling them at one point and then lost control, that kind of thing. Skye quickly becomes impatient with this conversation that she's having with William, because she was expecting it to go more like, how do we get a bowl full of your dad's blood without raising too much suspicion? That's what she thought this conversation was going to be about, is how do we get the blood to the forest without raising a million red flags, because it's a lot of blood. And William is treating this conversation more like, how do we outsmart the woods so that I don't have to get a bowl of my dad's blood?
And she's just like, that's ain't happening. We need to figure out how to get your dad's blood.
So that's how this conversation is going, and the two of them are becoming very impatient with each other.
She's like, we need to figure it out, or I'll figure it out.
Exactly. Come on, help me think, William says. There must be rules. Things they can't do. Places they can't go. Like here. Why? I don't know, because it's made of stone. Are you planning to never step foot outside again? Or convince your family to do the same? I don't see that working out very well somehow. For fuck's sake, Skye. He draws a deep breath, sits back. You don't understand. Haven't you thought that we shouldn't be giving in to them on this? They'll just ask for more and more. You're showing them that they have power over you. That's because, they do. I snap. I don't have a choice. She's my sister. And he's my dad, William says. It's a plea. A puppy dog whimper. It cuts and I falter. He's looking at me like I'm withholding some answer, some way out. I would tell you if I had any ideas. I really would. Let's just focus on getting through this, okay? I need that guide. And they said that that's payment. There's no other way. I should have bargained with them, William says. I should have argued more. I don't think that's how it works. But there must be something they want. What are they trying to... William, I interrupt. Look, here's what I know. What they want is to hurt you. Do you get that? You can't bargain with something when that's all it wants from you. Whatever they ask you for, it's going to hurt. That's the point. Do mice get to bargain with cats? He stares at me. We just have to survive, okay? They'll have their fun, and then they'll let us go. It's just blood. It's not like they're asking us to kill anybody. Not yet, he says darkly. I'm not doing this. William folds his arms and hunches his shoulders. I won't. There has to be another way. You don't have a choice. I do. He takes a deep breath and settles into resolution. Look, I'm sorry, but I was up against a wall back there, and I have to take it back. I'm not doing this for you, okay? I can't.
Isn't it for his own life?
It's not for him.
I thought the bargain was for his own life.
What do you mean?
During our last episode, the forest wanted William.
Yeah.
His whole life. They wanted him dead. They wanted William.
Yeah.
And his bargain was, instead of me, what do you want? So the consequence of him not giving what it wants is his life. I don't get why he's having an issue.
It wasn't his life necessarily. Like, he was, like, stepping in to protect Skye because it also wants Skye. And it was trying to see how far it could push Skye by being like, would you kill William? And he's like, hold the fuck up right now. And he's like, is there anything I can give you? And this forest is a little sassy. And it was like, sure, you could fucking die. And it's like, and he's like, okay, like, for real though, what could I give you? And it's like, your blood. And he's like, and then it's like, or your father's kind of thing. So it's not necessarily that he didn't initially give them what it wanted, but it's also like, I don't think the forest totally knows what it wants. I think it just wants to fuck with them. Mm-hmm. But also, I get where you're coming from of like, why didn't he just be like, you want the, whatever. But he also was trying to minimize the amount that was due as payment, basically. You don't have a choice. I do. He takes a deep breath and settles into resolution. Look, I'm sorry, but I was up against a wall back there, and I have to take it back. I'm not doing this for you, okay? I can't. I push myself to my feet. For a bottomless moment, standing over him, I'm tempted to tell him what I'm facing, what they wanted from me first, what they still want from me. But I can't risk making him even more determined to abandon me. I'm going home, I say instead. How could they put all of this on him and take it so entirely out of my hands? Haven't I cooperated? I need to make him understand. I need him back on my side. I will not allow them to turn him against me. In that version of the game, he doesn't stand a chance. She's kind of getting to your point, too, a little bit about how William, first of all, just needs to suck it up and just needs to pay what he now owes to the forest, because there's more at stake than he realizes. Because again, when the forest first started bargaining with Skye, it was like, what if we kept you and Deidre? And she's like, or you could let me and Deidre go. And so there is a lot at stake here. It's her life, it's Deidre's life, it's a whole slew of things. And I wonder if there's more that the forest and she have talked about that we just weren't privy to, because she is very selective with how she tells the story, even though it's in present tense, and so we think we're getting everything. I feel like we're not getting everything.
And I feel like we're getting everything in present tense.
I don't know. I still don't trust Skye because she has been a very unreliable narrator, which is, I mean, that's her purpose. She's supposed to be unreliable. But I also don't know. I don't trust her because of the whole Tyler situation and how she could keep that all under wraps for so long. So I don't trust her. I don't trust all of the information that we're getting is accurate, we'll say. So that night, after she leaves from Williams, Skye has another nightmare, which is basically her reliving what she did to Tyler. But instead of Tyler, it's William, which I'm like, interesting.
Exciting.
And in the dream, she mostly is talking about how she's walking down this path and she hears somebody behind her and she turns expecting to see Tyler, but it's William. And so I'm very curious about that, because that makes me think, because the way that the whole Tyler situation happened, I imagined it as Skye waited for him in the bushes or whatever and ambushed him. But now when she says that she's walking down a path and she hears somebody behind her and she turns, it makes it sound almost in a way like she was luring Tyler there. So more into that, like, attempted murder and less of a, I was doing it out of self-defense kind of thing. You know what I mean? So Skye wakes up to the drywall in her basement literally crumbling around her because the roots, they're coming in, honey. Those roots are bursting through everything. And there's like water and there's more drywall, and there's dirt, and there's all this kind of crazy stuff. The roots are going bananas. And so she screams, obviously, and her parents come running, and of course they're like, what the fuck? What is this? What is this? What is happening? And they start bickering with each other because Sarah and Brent, unfortunately, don't have the best of relationships, and they do bicker a lot. And Sarah's mad because she's like, you're the one who said we didn't need a house inspection. What the fuck is this? And then Brent is like, I swear to God, Sarah, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Tree roots don't act like this. Whose roots are these anyways? What tree do these belong to? Because they're not right above this area. What the fuck is this?
There's no trees right up against the house. I don't understand.
That's exactly. He's like,
this is crazy town.
It's crazy.
We're moving back to California.
Well, and then that's what Sarah's like, we don't have the money to do that kind of shit. So it's like, So they tell Skye that for now, she should go sleep in Deidre's room.
I had a feeling that was gonna be the case.
At least until they can get the roots figured out. And that's, of course, an awkward offer, especially because right now it's assumed that Deidre's dead because it's been a week.
Mm-hmm.
You can sleep in Deidre's room for now, Mom says. Is that okay? I shrug. It doesn't matter. Deidre's not coming home on her own. You can sleep on the couch if you want, but I have a feeling it's going to take a while to fix this. She sniffs. Who knows how much money? What a nightmare. Sometimes it's like something doesn't even want us here, you know? Like, it's trying to push us out or swallow us up, or... Do you think there's something out there, Mom? I whisper. She blinks in surprise, then takes a deep breath and forces a smile. No, of course not. The smile slips. Oh, Skye, honey, you must be having a terrible time if my nonsense is getting to you like that. I just had a bad dream, I mutter. And I'm so fascinated by this little interaction with her mom saying, I think maybe there's something that's trying to push us out of the house. There's something creepy and weird going on, because there was way back at the beginning when Deidre first went missing, when I thought it was her mom heard the cat bell. And then now Skye had been hearing the cat bell and all that kind of stuff. And so I am so curious if her mom is sensitive to the magic of the woods, if her mom knows more about the magic of the woods. I'm curious why they decided to move to this place in particular as well. Is it something where the family has a history in this place? Specifically, does Skye's mom have a history in this place? Because I'm just... It's such an interesting comment that she's like, I feel like something is trying to push us out. And Skye's been saying that kind of stuff too, about how that rose bush is like an invader and the ground is attacking it, trying to protect itself.
Yeah, and the mother's whole thing is she has a green thumb. She's like a bit of gardener.
Mm-hmm. Skye decides that she is still pissed at the woods, and that the woods would leave this whole issue up to William, who she presumed would never get the gumption to help her and her sister. So she wanted the ball back in her court, with her in control. So she yet again sneaks out of the house.
Late at night, sneaks out of the house. They're like, we let you leave the house earlier, and now you're sneaking out again.
Well, she sneaks out because she's now doing stuff behind William's back. She can't have William be her helper right now because she's trying to persuade William to participate, basically. So she sneaks out and has a little conversation with the woods. And in that conversation, she basically says, I don't think William's going to give you what you want. At least not anytime soon, and not in the way that you want it or in the way that is going to be very beneficial for anybody. But I think with just a little push, how the roots gave me that little push to tell them about Tyler, I think I can give him that little push. But I need your help, Woods. And the Woods are like, oh dear, tell us everything. What do you want? How are you going to push William? And she says, well, I don't think you can reach William up in his stone house. I think you were bluffing earlier. But I can reach him in the stone house up at the top of the hill. I can go there. So I just need you to provide me with a dead animal. And the forest is like, bitch, we got you. So she goes home, and on her back porch is a dead raccoon. And she's like, excellent. And she drags that dead raccoon to William's house and plops it on his front doorstep as a message. Which I am horrified by. Like, if she didn't seem like a serial killer before with the whole Tyler situation, like, this is serial killer behavior. This is like, when you look at the escalation of creepy behavior, there's like stalking and creeping and whatever, and then one of the escalations is animal mutilation and like killing animals and stuff like that. And while she didn't exactly kill it, I'm like, you're doing the same thing though by leaving it as a message. That is fucked up behavior. That is disgusting behavior, and it's manipulative as fuck. And that's what she wants.
Yeah, she's trying to be manipulative and controlling. That's exactly what she wants.
I hate it so much.
I thought she'd do something more interesting, like throw it into his window or something.
Well, she doesn't want William to know that she's the one doing it.
Yeah, but like, maybe she hid or something. I don't know.
Alright. William's house is dark other than a light over the garage. I stand there, trembling, for a long minute, trying to will myself back into motion, into doing what I came to do. I keep to the shadows, at the edge of the circle of light. I set my burden down on the sandy cut stones of the front walk, tug at the plastic until the body comes tumbling out with a splatter of fluid.
Ew. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't mention, it's not just a dead raccoon, it's like gouged down the middle, like there's like a long jagged cut down its middle. I do gag at that, at the mushrooming smell, and stagger back with my face pressed against my arm. Once I force the wall back up, I edge close enough to grab one foot, roll the raccoon over so the ragged chasm of its body gapes wetly open. Above me, the windows are still, empty, and sightless. Then I snatch the plastic bag and run, like a criminal, like a scavenger back into the dark. At home, I bury the plastic, the gore-smeared gloves in the garbage. I strip down to my underwear, pitch my clothes, though they're unstained, I think, into the wash. Splash soap into the machine with a shaking hand, set the water as hot as it will go. And then I scrub my hands at the sink, over and over, trying to erase the smell of rubber. Eventually, I have to crawl back into Deidre's bed. I lie there, staring up at the sky through the window, but the stars are hidden again behind a blank, flat wall of cloud, a shade paler than the beginnings of dawn. The iron certainty that's been driving me has turned brittle and flaky, a shell between me and what I've just done. I should have known better than to trust that certainty. I should have remembered that it doesn't last. I turn away from the window, pull the blankets up around my ears. This isn't the same. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a raccoon. It was already dead. I moved it is all. It won't hurt anyone. All it will do to William is freak him out. That's all I need it to do. So first of all, I find it very hard to believe that nobody saw her dragging that raccoon from her house to William's.
It was just in the bag.
Well, it's in a bag, but like, I don't know if it's just that I want the drama of it, but I just have a hard time believing that she's like lugging this raccoon up there with its guts pouring out and whatever, and then she gets to the house and all the windows are like empty. I find it suspicious that nobody is seeing her do this. I think that eventually she's going to do something like this again where somebody is going to see her even though she thinks nobody can, and then she's going to get herself into more trouble or something. That's kind of what I'm hoping happens, because the drama of it would be delightful. Yeah.
But I mean, the raccoon's not that big.
Maybe it's a fat raccoon. Like, I've seen some fat raccoons, man. They look...
It's maybe 20 pounds.
That would be a lot after a while. But also, Skye eventually starts saying things like, this isn't the same as with Tyler. This is different. And that makes me wonder...
Yeah, she's feeling super guilty about it.
It makes me wonder if she has mutilated animals before. And I mean, like, okay, again, she didn't mutilate this raccoon. She didn't kill this raccoon. But she was saying, it's not the same. It's just a raccoon, and it was already dead. I'm like, did you kill something else? Like, his dog or something? Like, it makes me very nervous, because she also was like, Tyler wouldn't dare rat on me. I made sure of it. I made sure to scare him so much that he wouldn't turn on me, kind of thing.
I thought it was just continuous, almost drownings for like hours.
That's what I thought. Or minutes even. Like, that would be horrifying. So, is she more of a monster than...
Yeah, she could be more of a monster, but...
Like, did she kill something, and, like, did she leave him little presents like that? Because, again, this is super serial killer stalker behavior. This is very creepy. To be like, I'm gonna take this dead, mutilated animal and just leave it on your doorstep as a message. Creepy as fuck. Okay?
She also needs him to hurt his own dad to
Exactly.
get a bunch of blood.
And if she did do something spooky like this before, to leave a message for Tyler, was that before or after she tried to drown him? Is my question. Because remember, she did do a lot of stuff. Like, she tried to beat him up, but she got, like, the one time that she, like, punched him or something, she got suspended or whatever. And so did she try other stuff before trying to kill him? Is my question. Or did this happen after she tried to kill him? Who knows? The Woods mentioned that she hadn't shared the true extent of her secret with the quote-unquote invaders. So I'm wondering if there's more to her secret.
Mm.
And to me, I'm like, other than attempted murder, what else is there? Like, did she actually kill somebody? Is, like, that's, like, the next thing. Or was she lying and saying that she attempted to kill him, but actually, did she actually kill him? I don't think so, but, like, I don't know. It's just, I'm like, what is worse than attempted murder? Like, what else does the forest want her to admit? And because, again, Skye is so terribly unreliable, and if she's willing to be at least an attempted murderer, if not a murderer, then she, like, has no limits. So, I don't know. This is just, it's a very weird thing happening on this escalation scale. So the next day, after she leaves William a little present, Sophie pays a visit to Skye, and she tells Skye to stay away from William. Obviously. And at first, when she was like, you need to stay away from William, I'm like, oh my god, was I right? Did William see her leaving the raccoon? Because that would be wild. But no, he didn't. Apparently, what had happened was that he had freaked out about the raccoon to Sophie and was, like, losing his shit about all sorts of stuff. But he also didn't tell Sophie about the creepy monsters in the woods. Because, to be fair, how would you approach that conversation? Just being like... There's
literal bone monsters in the woods.
You would sound like a crazy person and become committed to some kind of institution. Skye is actually quite excited to hear that William is losing his shit. She's like, oh good. This is going to be way easier than I thought. One raccoon makes him freak out like this? Excellent. But on the other hand, this isn't great because Sophie is threatening her and basically blackmailing her now. So Sophie tells Skye basically like, yeah, I regret telling you that I'm a lesbian, but that's nothing in comparison to your little secret. So go ahead, tell anybody you want that I'm a lesbian. Like, I can deal with those assholes. But I don't think that you really want your little secret about Tyler getting out, do you? And Skye's like, okay, where is this going? And Sophie's like, William has asked us not to tell anybody about the Tyler situation for now. But, I don't know. Do your parents even know about the Tyler situation? And Skye does not have a very good poker face at this one moment. And Sophie's like, I bet your parents don't know about it. Man, it'd be a shame if somebody told them.
What a ballsy person. You're literally trying to blackmail someone that was, like, hurt a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm like, you're within arm's range of this person.
Well, during this conversation, Sophie says, I'm not afraid of you, Skye.
She really should be.
I don't think she understands the extent of Skye's violence, but she's like, I'm not afraid of you, Skye. And in fact, maybe you should be afraid of me. And Skye's like, all right, bet. Let's go.
Skye's like, let's just take a walk next to the woods.
And she's like, okay, here's the thing. I hear where you're coming from about leaving William alone. I can't tell you why I can't leave William alone. So, okay, whatever. I'll avoid him. Sure. You win. Bye. And as Sophie walks off, Skye notices that there's 2 crows following her, like flying, going woohoo. So Skye again, before Sophie walks off, she tried to explain that she didn't really have a choice, but Sophie does give her the ultimatum before walking off with the crows following her, saying that if she doesn't stay away from William, then she, Sophie, is going to tell Skye's parents about Tyler. And that is power that she has over Skye, because Skye's parents do not know, and it will make everything much worse for her if her parents find out about it.
Yeah, she's still dumb. You don't
threaten someone like Skye. You just don't. So the next night, Skye leaves 2 dead animals on William's doorstep.
She's escalating.
She's escalating.
She's like...
A raccoon? No big deal. Could have been a coincidence. I mean, they are near the woods. This time, it's a porcupine and a rabbit. Which I'm curious about the symbolism of the animals that are chosen here, because one of the bone creatures has a porcupine pelt as part of its, wardrobe. I am curious. I don't know what porcupines symbolize. They aren't used very often. But the fact that there's... And I get that, like, okay, these are woodland creatures, a porcupine and a raccoon and a rabbit. But I just wonder if there is some symbolism with those creatures being chosen, especially in relation to William, Kevin, and Sophie. Like, if I was going to assign each of them one of those, I think that Kevin would be the porcupine. I think... I'm trying to figure out who would be the rabbit and who would be the raccoon.
William's the rabbit, Skye.
Or Sophie's the raccoon. I think so. I think that's what I would have it, because, like, the raccoons are kind of sneaky and they have, like, everyone's hot garbage. Little
thief hands.
And Kevin has that, like, spiky exterior, but is usually pretty sweet. And then William is just...
a coward.
Kind of. So I just think it's so interesting, that just the choice of animals. But anyways, yeah, so she puts 2 dead animals on the doorstep. Apparently the the porcupine's face is just fucking gone. It's been, like, eaten, and it's real gross. And again, I find it super suspicious that nobody saw Skye carting off these dead animals in the middle of the night. She says that she used a wheelbarrow this time, and I'm like, how does nobody notice that?
Well, a porcupine's a bit bigger. You don't want to really touch it.
Exactly. So
I would have loved to have heard, like, try to toss it, and then she just got it's like a bunch of quills in her hand.
All right.
But in a movie, that would happen, and then later on, William would be like, "Why's your hand got little pokey pokes?"
Okay, whatever. Nobody saw her carting off these animals in the middle of the night. Okay. William texts her in the morning, and then also calls her about it, but he's, like, sending her all these pictures of the dead animals, and is like, what the fuck is happening?
And she goes, I warned your ass!
And so he calls her up, and he's like, can you help me get rid of these dead carcasses? She hesitates because she's taking Sophie's threat seriously, because sure, she's doing some creepy shit, like leaving mutilated animals on William's doorstep, but Sophie clearly meant stop being nice to William, not stop being a creep to William, because, like, the whole point is she's like, you're a creep, and when you're being nice to William, you're not actually being nice to William, so stop doing that. Stop making him want to fall in love with you. Stop making him want to spend time with you. Just stay the fuck away from him. So Sophie wasn't saying stop putting animals on his front doorstep. She was saying just stop interacting altogether. So she's like, I don't want to go to your house, William, because, you know, Sophie's your neighbor and whatever and all that kind of stuff. And William's like, I promise, nobody's gonna know that you're even here. My parents won't even know that you're here. Like, it'll be real quick. I just need you to help me move these animals. And he's, like, again, freaking out because he's like, is the forest doing this? And Skye's like, yep, the forest is leaving those animals there. So when she goes off to William's house, because she does eventually decide to go there, William is visibly shaken, and he's reeling from the whole situation, just like Skye wanted. Mm-hmm. And he asks her if the forest has left any gifts like these dead animals for Skye. And she said, well, the roots invaded again, because they did. And he seemed hurt that she didn't tell him before then, but she was like, I did try to call you yesterday. And he was like, ooh. And it makes it seem like he didn't respond to her, because I don't think he did. And so then this is like this awkward power struggle of he needs to give the blood to the forest in order for Skye to get her sister back. And he doesn't want to do it. He's putzing around trying to find something else to do. And then at the same time, Skye's getting attacked by the roots. And so it's making him look more like an asshole. Because he kind of is, except for the fact that I'm like, Skye, you're literally leaving dead animals on his doorstep. So, like, I don't know how much of an asshole he is, but okay. So they stand there awkwardly for a little bit. and just to cut the tension a little bit, they're like, okay, let's get rid of these dead animals. Neither of us wants to look too closely, much less touch them. In the end, I pull a shovel from the shed and roll the bodies onto the sheet. We haul them across the yard in a long sling. I assign William to take the lead so he can keep his eyes forward. We tip them into the brush at the back of the lot, and I drop the bloodstained sheet, stuck with porcupine quills, carefully into the trash. When I come back out of the garage, William is leaning on the shovel, staring down at the dark stains on the stone. That was me. That heartsick look he's wearing, that's what I've done. What I had to do. Before I can think better of it, I put my arm around him. He doesn't shrug it off. They're not going to let this go, he says, not looking up. Are they? Everything okay? The call comes from behind us. Bill Wright steps out onto the front door in slippers, a mug of coffee steaming in one hand, frowning at us. You look like somebody died, he says. I feel like you really like Bill, and I don't know if he's supposed to be a likable character, but this guy is just, he's great. You look like somebody died.
As far as I can tell, he just has high expectations for his son, and his son doesn't feel like he can keep up with them.
Yeah. You look like somebody died, he says. Under my hand, William's shoulder goes rigid. It's fine, Dad. We found a dead animal on the steps. I let my hand drop. Try to speak naturally. Shit, I knew it. I knew this was a bad idea. It's not like I can tell Bill not to mention my visit. We took care of it. Again? He comes over to look at the blood on the stones. Huh, that must have been one hell of a mess. William nods, his eyes fixed on the ground again. His dad breaks into a smile, claps a hand over his shoulder. Well, as long as you kept your breakfast down, eh? He leans toward me. He's got a bleeding heart here, our William. We used to have funerals for dead snakes on the road. William doesn't speak. A muscle jumps in his jaw. Bill laughs. Don't worry, I won't stick around to embarrass you. Just letting Skye know she doesn't need to beat up on you to get her way. He actually winks at me. Eh?
Oh my.
Right, I say faintly. I'll remember that. A honk from the road makes me jump, and I turn to see Sophie leaning out of the window of her silver SUV. Well, good morning, she calls. I flinch, and I hate myself for it. Bill nudges William. Look at that, son. You've got all the pretty girls coming out of the woodwork. Sophie laughs, on cue as always. She's even convincing. I just stopped to tell Skye I'd be over later today, she says sweetly, her smile bright as the glint of keys clutched between knuckles. We have a lot to talk about, don't we? I lift my chin and return her pointed look. I'll be there. My voice is even at least. This is my own goddamn fault. I should never have come up here. Sophie waves and pulls away. Bill raises a mug in a sardonic salute. The door swings closed behind him. After an endless few heartbeats of thrumming silence, William hurls the shovel aside. It hits the rocks with a clang. Oh, the tension! It's not even spooky. It's just like...
The tension's there, yeah.
There's so much tension, and of course Sophie saw this. Because, like, Skye was like, when... At first Sophie was like, you better stay away from William. So Skye was like, yeah, how are you going to make sure of that? Are you going to bug his phone and everything? And Sophie's like, bitch, I might. Like, and it's like, she apparently seems to be in the wrong place at the right time. So, like, that's just, it's so creepy.
Yeah, it's... William really doesn't like his dad.
No, he doesn't. And I think part of it is just, like, the embarrassed teenager phase of... Yeah, Bill has been saying some kind of embarrassing things about William. I don't know, like, that's kind of normal. Yeah, that's normal behavior.
Bad. Doesn't seem that bad to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is such a tense spot to be in the book. I don't know.
It's nice. It's good.
My goodness. But yeah, that's where I'm at in the book.
Was that 1 or 2 chapters?
That was 3.
That was 3? Okay. I felt like those were very good. Yeah, I was going to try to transition into what did I learn? And I'm trying to think of what did I learn.
You learned that Sophie's an idiot.
Yeah, I learned that. Yeah, true. I learned that Sophie is a fucking dumbass trying to threaten an attempted murderer within arm's reach of them. Going into their house. But it's even worse than that because she has the idea that maybe she killed her own sister. And, like, I don't. Yeah. Or maybe I'm reading too much into that, but... what an idiot.
I think, yeah, if I thought, like, if somebody told me the stuff that Skye told them, and then also beat up me and my friends.
But she didn't actually get beat up. She just had her phone broken.
Right, but I mean, she saw what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw that, I don't think I would go anywhere near her ever again. And I would tell my friends to stay away, and if they didn't, I'd be like, that's your fucking game that you're playing there. Your life, you might end up in a hole 6 feet under and nobody will find you. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, but I would cut my losses. I'd be like, I'm not going to go over there and threaten her.
Not messaging them. I'm not, you go, damn.
I don't know if I learned anything, because I was going to say I learned that you are excited about a Warframe that has a big butt, but that's not new information. I know that you like big butts and you cannot lie. And nobody can deny.
No.
When a Warframe walks in with it anyways. Oh. But I learned that you're gonna finally play a new game.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you guys choose not to. But if, oh my God, what if it doesn't happen tomorrow because tomorrow is Halloween? Happy Halloween, by the way, everybody. Which this is not, I mean, this is way past Halloween when it's actually coming out, because
but we're
we are
recording
so
this
far away.
On Halloween Eve.
Yes. So I'm worried, though, that you're not actually going to play it, so then by the next time we record, you're not going to have...
Well, people stop coming by around, like, what, 8 o'clock? 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock?
I don't know.
Anyway.
One update kind of thing that we have. We think that we're going to try to start releasing 2 times a week just because of how fast I've been reading.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to wait till this season is done, meaning this book, because we're going to have a different season for every book.
Yeah. We'll see how that recording schedule goes.
Yeah. I just think because this is episode 9 that we're recording right now, and episode 5 comes out in 2 days. So...
Oh, wow.
We technically, as of what's released right now, we have more episodes recorded than we do released. So I think we could probably handle a twice a week release schedule. This kind of comes out because our girl Bree, our delightful Disco Court patron.
Patron number 1.
She's number 1. She told me that she was so fascinated by our discussions of this book that she broke down and got it. And she finished the book. And so now I'm behind, because at first I was ahead of everybody, and I was like, I know everything about what's going on. And then you sometimes would be as caught up as I was. And then everybody else then was like weeks behind where I like have information. And Bree was one of those people that was very far behind, but then she got so fascinated by our discussion that she got the book. And to be fair, she got it on audiobook and she listened to it, which is not, I'm not knocking that. I love audiobooks, and that still counts as reading in my opinion. But she listened to the whole book, I think, in probably like a couple days, and she's like, it gets crazy. And I'm like, crazier than where I'm at? And she's like, well, where are you at?
You're like, I don't want to tell you.
I'm like, I don't know. And she was like, oh yeah, it gets real crazy. And I'm like, I don't like that I don't know. But it's just kind of one of those things, because I was asking her stuff, and she was saying that it might be fun to have, because she's like, as a consumer of content, if you produce more content, I will definitely consume more, and other people will consume more. And I'm like, yeah, I know that makes more sense, but that's a lot of reading. The thing that I worry about is if I end up reading a book that I don't like, we're going to become pretty far behind on recordings. But that's just going to have to be the game that we play. That's our bargain with the woods.
Our bargain with the woods, yeah. I was going to say, you may not necessarily have to finish the book if you really don't like it. Yeah.
But I think with this book, I really like it, and I really want to finish it. I just don't have time to read.
Yeah.
But we are very far ahead. I don't have time to read. That doesn't mean I don't make time to read, because I am very eager to get to the end of this book. I'm very scared, though, because this does, like, it seems like we're getting close to the end. It feels like I'm close to the end. But nothing is even close to being wrapped up. Like, we still don't know what the fuck is going on, what these monsters are, or what's going... Like, this is a lot. And I don't know if Deidre's still alive.
I'm not sure if Deidre's actually alive.
I hope she is, but because she's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so confused about Skye and where all of this is going. Like, I hope Skye gets therapy at minimum, if not jail time. Like, she needs...
What's the statute of limitations?
On attempted murder?
On assault.
Not 6 months. It's longer than 6 months. It's probably a couple of years.
Yeah. They'd have to walk up to him and go, do you want to press charges? And he goes, no.
Oh my gosh.
And depending on the severity, like, it's a minor, and,
They'll give her community service.
Mm-hmm. And then she's 18, and it's expunged, and that record's gone.
I don't like Skye. I've not liked her since, like, a while ago. When she started talking about how bitchy her sister is, when I'm like, your sister seems quite reasonable, actually. That from that point on, I've not really been a big fan of Skye. But at the same time, I really want her to succeed. But I'm also like, quit throwing dead animals at William.
Yeah, and I forgot how affected he is by dead animals. So this has been really effective.
Yeah. She's a smart cookie, and she knows what's going to work and what's going to get to him. Yeah,
I kind of forgot, but the dad walking out going, we used to have to hold funerals for dead snakes on the road. And I was like, oh.
And one of the chapters earlier, William was telling her that he's like, yeah, I puked my guts out the first time I went hunting.
Yeah, but they were both kind of stupid by dragging the animals across the yard and just dumping them in the edge.
Yeah.
Just put them in the trash can.
Yeah.
Anyway. Enough on that wonderful note. You should check out our Instagram.
At A Pot of Sass.
Send us an email.
apotofsass@gmail.com.
Check out our awesome Patreon.
Patreon.com/apotofsassandSarcasm. And then you can also listen to us anywhere you find podcasts. So we're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Pandora, YouTube, anywhere you find podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Please rate and review. It really, really helps us out. So even if you can't donate to our Patreon, your ratings and reviews will really, really help us out.
Thanks. Oh my goodness. Thanks for listening.
We're getting choked up about this. We hope that you keep listening, and we hope you stay sassy.
Later.
William's house is dark. Other than a light over the... I've got a burp coming, too. Never mind, I don't have a burp coming. I do. It's going to come again.